Okay, now, so the meeting is being recorded. And I hope I'm very audible. You can hear me very clearly, right?
Yes, sir, we can, sir.
Okay. So today is day 5 of our boot camp, and we are going really good. After today, you guys will go and be researching on what you can what you can design. Maybe it's mobile application or maybe it's web application. Although I've not taught you UX, that's user experience in detail in this boot camp, but I still want your design to solve a problem. But you are not going to outline the problem as in a process, but I just want you to build something that it revolves around a business, right? Maybe even your own personal business. For example, Prestos, you are into perfume selling. You
Yes,
can
sir.
design maybe something like website for yourself. Like, okay, this website will be able to connect my products, what I'm doing, to people wide and near. Maybe no matter where they are, very far, they can be able to buy it and they can be able to will build it. That's what I'm expecting after this boot camp. So today I'm going to show you something that you need to watch out when you are designing, and that is what we call
Okay.
design principle. So whether you are UI design, you are graphic designs, or you are any designer you are be, or even if you are just brand identity, people that design logo, the same principle applies to you when it comes to principle of designs. But in UI design, we take it with care because we are dealing with interaction, what people are interacting with, not just what they read. It is what people are clicking, what they are interacting with in day-to-day basis. So let's go into the lecture. Okay, I want to talk about some things actually before we start, and that is I see people focusing on too many stuff. So people want to be graphic designing, they want to be a graphic designer, they want to be a video editor, content developer, UI designer in a day. But let me just say at once, of course, it's possible. It depends on the way you can understand something, but it's not ideal. It's not the best. So what you should do is that focus on one particular thing for over a period of time, like for a year or 6 months. If you want to learn UI design, focus on only UI design for about 1 year first. So you know it very well before you can be able to bring anything into it. And this thing I'm telling you is something that's very crucial. I didn't know this when I started. I was doing many things. You will see me learning flow. You will see me UI design. You will see me learning um, front-end development, CSS, and I was not very good at one particular thing. So I was just kind of doing this one, doing that one. And to be honest, at some point, I got frustrated until I then sat down and learned design very well. That was even the time that I started getting gigs. I started doing something meaningful. If you are doing too many things at a time, nobody even take it serious. So try to focus on one thing over a period of time, like 6 months, 1 year. It really help you. So when you know one thing very well, in fact, if you know one thing very well now, it's easy for you to internalize or to understand some other things. But if you are dealing with too many things at the same time, it's not going to work. That's the reason why you even go to school to go and study a specialized course. Mhm. You know, you can't study in management sciences where our focus is as far as Abuja is concerned, as well as school. You don't want to say you are in accounting department and you are learning banking and finance stuff at 100 level. It's going to be too much on you. You have to specialize. Okay, I hope you get the point. All right. So next
Yes,
thing
sir.
I'm going to share my screen so you can see my screen. Most people are not here today. Of course, I know that Saturday is the day that people go out, and sometimes and some people that do not go out, some of them are in Man U or they are Chelsea fan, so they go ahead and watch Chelsea match today. Chelsea have match with Man U by 5:30. But if I watch match too. I'm a Chelsea fan, but if I have something meaningful to do, I don't watch match. Okay. Can you see my screen now, please?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay. So please let me off this light for now. Okay, maybe I can even put this one up. Okay. Mr. Toby, have you done the assignment? Are you there, Mr. Toby?
Yes, I'm with you.
Have you done the assignment?
Uh, Unfortunately, no. I was very busy throughout this week. Very, very busy. But I'll do it. I'll do the assignment.
Do you have any
I'll make
experience
sure I do it.
on UI design before? Because I feel like you have some experience. I've taken a look at your profile here, and I saw what you design here. I feel like this one is very good. Do you have any experience before?
Yes, I do. I do.
So how many years of experience?
Ah, minus. I don't have any work. I don't have any formal work experience. But for hands-on experience on projects, I'm over 3 years now.
So 3 years now, you have not done any real projects.
I've done rework projects, but what I'm saying is that in terms of gig, in terms of formal like corporate work, these companies have not. But real life projects, I have tons of them. If I ever have my portfolio,
So that means you'll be designing websites, you'll be designing web application for 3 years now.
yes, sir, I have.
Ah, so you know Agba now.
Sir,
I say you be Baba.
I know be Baba. I see they learn. No, I
So
see
what
they
we're
learn. I know
talking
be
about
Baba yet.
here, what we're talking about here so far, they be boring to you now.
No, it's not boring to me. It's
Are you
not.
sure? Are you sure? Because it's what you already know now.
It's just it might even refresh my memory to learn more.
Okay, all right then.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about uh today topic, which is principles of design, otherwise known as gesture principles of perceptions. So, what is the meaning of principles of design, or what is the meaning of gesture principle of perception? Okay, now some of these principles, believe it or not, is what you have used in your own designs. Whether you don't have any experience and you just join our boot camp, and you've been designing along with what I've been designing, we have used this experience in our design. You just do not know it. So I want to bring it to your awareness now. So you know it, and then sometimes you do it according to the principle willingly, not like maybe by mistake or by accident now. Okay, so just like you want to be aware of how things work in design. So this principle, they are a set of psychological theories that explain how human naturally organize visual elements into groups or unify wholes when interpreting the world. Our mind identify pattern in what we see and what we experience. So when you look at something, there's a way that your mind understands them. So that is why psychology they've written books about how human minds work when we see something. Please, if you don't talk, please, can you mute your mic? I think it's here. So that is why psychologists have written theories or principles of how human mind perceive things with our eyes. Okay, so these theories are what we call principles of design. I mean, the one that are related to design, of course. So as I said before, whether you are a graphic designer, you are a designer, or you are even somebody who deal with only branding, this will come in handy when you know how it works. Okay, so there are many of them, about 6 or 7. In some cases, you will see it as 7. In some other places, you may see it as 6. But these are just the one that I myself know of. And trust me, they are related in one way or the other. For example, proximity is almost the same as similarity. Okay. But I'm going to explain them in detail now. So we have about 7 here. We have law of proximity, law of similarity, law of contrast, law of common region, law of continuity, law of figure ground, and symmetry. Okay, these are the principles of perception according to psychologists. So, what do this particular thing means? Okay, as I said, if you are designing, what you are doing is you are communicating an ideas, or let me just put it this way, a solution to your users. And you want to be able to communicate this thing effectively. Because if it's not communicated effectively, your user will have problems. That is why user interface designer take these rules very carefully. Not like graphic designer, that's what you are designing most of the time is just what user will just deal with in a week or two sometimes. And that's the end of it. But our own design is what user is going to be using again and again and again and again and again. So if you design something in a way that is not good and the user feels frustrated today, if the user has to use that particular thing tomorrow without any updates or without any redesign, the same experience, that same bad experience, he or she will experience it again tomorrow. That's why you have to pay attention to detail when you are designing. Okay. So as I said, to make you to create an effective designs and to increase the likelihood that your message is communicated to the audience. Okay. So let's now take a look about all these rules one after the other. The first one is law of proximity. So you can just put law here. And I'm calling them law, okay, because this is what they are called. But you as a designer, you don't have to be following any rules, any principle all the time, the way they are by the book. Because if you follow it too much sometimes, can just hinder your creativity. But when you are doing this again and again and again, you yourself will know where to follow rule and where not to follow rules. But for now, if you are still a beginner, just accept them as law that you should follow them almost all the time. Okay. You go ground and law of symmetry. And this law of symmetry, and I'm supposed to remove it because even this day we are using asymmetry that is contrast with symmetry, and is something very good sometimes. You can see what I'm saying about rules. But let's continue with the first one, which is law of proximity. So, what is law of proximity? Law of proximity just say that elements that are close to each other, they are perceived by the user as one. That's what it means. Don't know, maybe this example is the best, but let's just use it now. As time goes on, when we are designing reward projects, I'm going to be reminding you of all these rules one after the other. The law of proximities just say that elements that are close together, they are perceived as one. For example, here now, what you can see here is, if I should ask you, how many users do we have here now? You boldly tell me 4, that we have 4 users. Because here now, this one feel like maybe like one user, this one feel like one user, this one feel like one user, and this one feel like one user. That's the law of proximity. And because of the way these things are placed, right, they are close to each other. So you can feel like this is they are one element in action. This one too is one. 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 Even without grouping them, right? But if I should scatter them, now I'm using auto layouts. Let me just remove auto layouts for now. And I didn't tell you shortcut of removing auto layouts. It's just Alt, Shift, and A. You know, if you want to add auto layout, use Shift and A, right? But if you want to remove it, you use Alt, Shift, and A. That's the shortcut of removing auto layouts. And of course, you can go to this user place and remove it here. Okay. Now, let me scatter this design so that you can see what this rule is saying in particular. Let me just move this one here. Let me move this one here, maybe this one too here. And if I should ask you the first question that I ask, that rhetorical question that I answer by myself, that's how many users do we have here? Can you even tell me any that we have 4 users here again? Can you tell me? Because this item, they are not close to one another again. They are just scattered. You can't even make any meaning from them. Any meaning from them. That's what proximity is saying. That if you put items together, they feel like a one. So When we put this one and this one together now you will perceive them as one. So your user will feel like, okay, this is one. And of course, you may feel like, oh, this is intuitive now. Yes, it is. But it is good that you know it so that sometimes you do it by yourself by putting items that are related close together. That's what just this one is saying. The law of proximity. Okay. And now this is clear. Precious, do you
Yes,
understand?
sir, it is. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's continue having this as they are before. This is just what proximity is saying. Okay, and I'm scratching the surface here. And then the second thing is law of similarity. Do I even have it here? Okay, this is law of similarity. I just have to quickly draw this example so that you can understand what I'm saying. I don't want to be reading notes for you. And it's hard for me to really explain it in reward. So after this now, it makes sense if I now say it in reward. So this is the law of similarity. When you look at all these circles, you can tell that all these circles, they are the same. Okay, because all of them are similar. That's just the law of similarity. Now, if I should draw, let me just draw a rectangle. Okay, let me see the shape. This one is 335. 335, right? And then I put it here like this. And I put it here like this. You can, at a glance, tell that this one is not part of this group, even though they are close. You can see the reason why they even differentiate them now. They are close. They obey this law. They follow this law of proximity. But because of the way this one is looking like, you will see that this one is not part of these people. Okay, this one is somehow different. And this one can be in terms of other property. Okay, it can be in terms of color. It can be in terms of maybe let's just put it this way. Now you can say this one and this one they are the same thing, while this one and this one are the same thing. But if I should add corner radius to this one like this, you will start thinking like this one too is different from this one. That's just law of similarity. So it means that if you want to tell your user that this one is not part of the other, if I want to tell you like, that this one is not part of the other, I can just use different shape. Or otherwise, I can just use different fill. Let me just put different color here. So when you see this at once now, what will come to your mind is that this one is kind of not the same with others because all of these are white, while this one is red. That's what it means. And then you can, this is why we always draw this kind of color to tell the user maybe the user is online, is offline, or the user is away. Okay, let me put this one to brown. Something like this. Okay, and then let me put this one to green. When you see this one on Facebook, you can tell that, oh, this guy is online. Okay, the same circle again, not any other circle, just the color. You can tell that, oh, this one is offline. And then when you see something like this, you say that, okay, this guy is away. Okay, so that is just where the idea comes. It's coming from the law of similarity. Okay, just use color that is not the same to show that these people are not on the same status. Okay. The takeaway here is that if you want items to look alike, you want user to perceive them as they are one. Just make sure that they have the same property. If you want user to perceive this one and this one as the same thing, and this one is having different color, the user will be thinking that this one is not the same as this one. So in this case, let's just return this one to this shade of white. Okay, that's it about law of similarity. It's not hard, nothing hard about it, but it's good that you know it. Okay, so let's move on to law of contrast. So this law of contrast is what actually brings us to this thing called focal points. If you are designing a flyer, there is one particular test that's going to be focal point, and that test is going to be the largest. That if you are looking at that particular flyer, is what you are going to see first. That's what we call focal points. It's coming from the law of contrast. So, which means that if you want to draw the attention of your user to one particular thing, just make it different in an enormous way to the others by color, by size, or by any other thing. And that's what we have here. So you can see we have elements that are almost the same with this one, but the size is what separates this one. So if you take a look at this design now, what you are going to see first is this one. Even though it's not at the middle, what you are going to see first is this one. Just because of this one is bigger than this one. Now you may be thinking that okay, is it not the same as similarity? Yes, of course. That's why I'm saying that this law sometimes they are kind of related. If you understand one very well, the other will make sense to understand. But this law of contrast, the way we use it mostly is with color. Okay, so let's say that all of this one, they are the same thing. Let me call this one for now. They are the same thing. And then this one has maybe this particular color. And then this one are the same color, but this one is very vibrant. Just like I've explained with the law of similarity. So your attention will be drawn with this one. Okay, more. But even if you have this one now and they are still the same size, and you have another one like this, user will still going to see this one first, even though the color is white. Okay, so size is something that actually separates all the elements from other thing beside it. So always take a proper check at the size of your element. If you want one particular element to attract user attention, size is one thing that you can use to make that happen. That's just it about law of contrast. Some of these things are they're not easy to explain in theory, but when we are doing design, of course, we are going to be seeing it in action. That's it about law of contrast. Okay, so let's take a look at law of common region. Okay, this law of common region has to do with grouping, and as you can see here, so when we group something, just like in proximity, when we group something, the user will feel like they are the same element, they are just one. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this outline now. Let me remove this one. So if I show you this one first now, and I ask you, what is going on here now? That's how many number do we have here? That question will be just you will find it difficult to answer because you can't really tell the number of elements here because of the way they are scattered like this. But if I should put them in a group, right, I want to maintain them like this. And let me put them in a group like this. Let me put it to frame selection. Stroke. I'm going to use 10. Okay. I think because of they are too close now. It does not make sense actually. But if I should put them like this now, you can be able to tell that this is three cards. That's what grouping just means. So grouping is just say that if elements are inside of one particular family, put them inside of a group and let them have the same property. And that is what you can be able to see in our design. Let me even show you this one because this one is. So you can see here, this card now, all of them have the same thing together. They are together. So that's how we group them in this place. And the same thing with this place too. So this law is very simple to understand actually, but it's good that you know it because sometimes if you don't know it, you may not even you might not even know where to use some that are not quite straightforward, like symmetry. Okay. So let's take a look at law of continuity. Okay. This law of continuity, this one too is straightforward, but sometimes it might be kind of tricky. So when you see this circle now, I think this one is even scattered now. When you see this circle the way they are now, it may not make any meaning for you. Okay, it may not make any meaning. But we can actually rearrange it and make it meaningful to the user. What I'm going to do is let me just carry this one and this one. I'm going to put it here. Okay. I'm going to put this one here, this one here. And I'm going to align them. Let me put this one here. This is not perfect, I know, but let's just I feel like that for now. And probably this one like this. So if I want to make this one, I can put this one here. And I made this one look like feet. So what we have been having here is just a circle, right? It's just a circle, nothing else. But the way we have it here, because of the way they are continuously arranged, you can think of something from it. For this, for example, this one look like a vertical line now, look like a line. Okay. And this one is beginning to look like feet. If I arrange it more now, it look a bit like feet. And there's nothing special about it. It's just where they are continuously arranged. But that's not the gist. The gist here is that if I should have a frame now, let me have this frame and this frame, all the circle are inside. Okay. Let me give it color. Let me give it something dark like this. And I'm going to group all this one. Yes, like this is not what I want to group on. Let me call this one. Okay. So when this one is A like this, and this one too is A like this the user can be able to uh, understand that this thing are continuous. It means that there are still some orders that this card is overflowing. So user can be able to scroll over here and be able to see the other one. Okay, that's just the way we use law of continuity most in UI design. So this thing now, if I should remove this one, this last circle, and I remove this one, once you're able to see this, they may just feel like on this page, we only have about, I think this is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 circle. And they will not even scroll again. But we are this as designer, we need to make sure that the user understand what we want them to do. So we can then show this, right? Now they know that okay, there's still some other circles that are overflowing in this card, and then they can be able to um, scroll. Okay, I think we have the same thing in this design. So the same thing that we have here. Suppose that this thing is not showing small, you can't see small of it, and everything is just like this. I don't know. See, this is what you are saying, Precious. When you are dealing with items that are related together, always put them in group. When you carry one like this, everything will carry. But they are not in the group now, so I'm trying to carry this one. I'm trying to carry this one, but it's not carried. So always put them in group because they are related. So now let me group them now. So now you can see now that I have grouped them. So if I should add this now, add this. This time we always think like, okay, oh, this is one element that we have here. Even though sometimes may not be hidden, it may just be still over here. Okay. So that's one thing about law of continuity. Okay. So the other one is, which I don't think I've drawn here, is the law of figure ground. Okay, I don't have figure ground here. What I have it to. Well, figure ground is not hard. What figure ground just means is that, let me use one to explain figure ground. It just means that if you have something like this, if you have something like this and you want to put another one on the top, make sure that is make sure that it's as if this one is on the top of the other one. So all this other one there and behind this one. So how can you do that? You can just use depth to create that. For me to be able to allow you to see it, let me just use, let me create white background now. So all this one inside. Maybe something like this. Okay. So now you can see now all of them are just, they're not making sense now because of the way they are. And what I want to do is I want to make the user think that this one is on top of the other one. So how can I do that? What I can do is you can just add some depth to the one on the top by using shadow to do it. That's the reason why we use effects. So if we use effects now, you can see the way I'm using this effect is not showing as effect, it's showing as stroke. Let me add color. So I've added color now, and now it's not showing as effect. But I'm going to duplicate this. And I'm going to put this one to -41. And this one to -29. Like this. Okay. Don't mind this shadow. The way this shadow is because of this number is too much. That's why it's kind of creating this other element here. But you get the points now. So I can do the same thing to this one, but for now, it's okay. So now we can be able to tell that this one is in front of all these other cards. Okay. So we can also apply the law that we know of in this place in contrast to this place now by making this one a bit faded out. Let me just put it to 60%, and then let me put this on to 60% opacity. The way I'm doing this, I'm pressing the number key on my keyboard. So if I press 1 now, the opacity will turn to 10%, to 20%, 3, 30%, and all the way to 90%. If you click on 0, it turn to 100%. If you click it 2 times, it turn to 0%. So let me put it to 60%. I think it's even kind of, so now we can tell that this one is in front of the other card, just with shadow. Okay, that's the law of Grant. So if you want your user to feel like one particular element is in front of the other element, so you use shadow to create some depth that this one is in front of other elements. That's what the law of Grant is telling us. And this thing is it's very simple, as I said, but then it may be it may come in handy when you are designing some marketing websites. You see, when you see some pop-up that will just pop up on your screens, and that particular pop-up will just blur the other screens, you won't be able to see what is, you won't be able to see the background again. That thing will just capture your attention on sometime until you do that thing, and that thing goes away. That's what this one is telling us, the law of Grant. Okay. And the next one is the law of symmetry. Now, the law of symmetry is just saying that there should be balance in your design. Okay, there should be balance in your design. You can say this is not making sense now. This law of continuity, because I feel like this one and this one is not balanced. Maybe this one is a bit taller than this one or somehow. So let's just make it balanced now. And I'm going to copy this, all of this one, and put it here like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use ruler to do it. I think I saw you had to use ruler before. So let's align them to the top. Okay. This one this way, this one this way, this one this way, and then this one this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this one all over. And when I do, I'm going to group them and I'm going to flip them like this. So when I flip them like this, you can see they are more balanced and they are looking like phi now. Okay, because of balance now, you can tell that, okay, oh, this is phi, unlike what we have here that is not even straight at all. This is the law of symmetry in design. Okay, but then right now we have what is called asymmetry. And asymmetry is just like even if some elements are not balanced in your design, they are still going to make sense. Let me group this one too. They are still going to make sense. We are saying this example is not, I can't use this example to tell that, but as time goes on, when I see symmetry example, I'll just let you know. Okay. Let me put this one up here. Even though it's not going to work now. Okay, the law of asymmetry, what is saying is that you don't have to follow balance all the time. Sometimes you can even do the opposite of balance and then it makes sense. Because if you take a look at what we have as fonts, let me just write phi here. And how this one will make sense. This is what we are trying to do with this circle. So this is one font. This is phi, okay, and this V is looking cool. It's well designed. Of course, fonts too are designed. People are designing. People design fonts. So this one is symmetrical in nature. To be honest, this example I don't even think of it. Just trying to put them out of my head now. So this guy the guy that designed this font follow the law of symmetry, but some other guy might follow law of asymmetry. and this view they may not even have the same height. So let's take a look at other fonts. This is Manro. So let's take a look at other fonts. So you can see this particular font now, the way this one is looking like. This is not symmetrical in nature. This is asymmetry. And then the fit to some extent is still looking cool. Especially if you're using this one to write something like love. Okay. So that's when we talk about mood board. That it depending on what you are love. It depending on what you are designing at the moment. Okay, that's when we talk about the mood board. You choose whether you want to use symmetrical element or you want to use asymmetric element. That's the main purpose of mood board. But this is just gesture principle of perception in nature that shows that if you want to call your user attention to one particular thing, you give them some of these principles in your design. Maybe you can use the law of contrast to draw their attention with size, with color, or you can use similarity that they look similar to make sure that user understand a particular element of your design that they are the same. Or you can even use the law of proximity. So that's what uh, the law of the law of design is all about. And in some cases, they may even be more than this. And some people even break it down to things like fronts and to things like fronts, to things like corner radius, and so on and so forth. But all of them still falls under this general concept of similarity, of proximity, of common region, of continuity, and so on and so forth. So with this now, we can correct some of your design. Okay. So let's go to Precious Design now and see how we can correct it.
Sir, this is not my design though.
Okay, this is not your design.
Yes, I'm number 9.
Okay, that's true. This is not your design.
No, that's not my design. Yes, this is it.
Okay. First of all, um, there are many things actually that we can take a look at. This is just principle of design. We still need to take a look about color, the way they work in UI design. You know, color and UI design is another complex stuff. In fact, one of the things that I had a problem with when I was starting until I understand color theory very well. There's something that we call, or there's some group of color that we call background color, or we call them neutral color. Neutral color are 4 in number. They are black, white, brown, and then gray. Those are neutral color. So you don't want to be having background with blue color, with this kind of crazily blue color like this. They will be too saturated, which means that the user will not find it comfortable to go through in your design. Okay. When you are using this kind of color now in your design, make sure that it's almost white. This one is okay. You can see the text on this one, but you can do better by just making this one like this. In fact, let me even see my own. I think I use pure white. If not pure white, it's going to be looking like white. Okay. So you can see here now the one I'm using. In fact, let me even show you the color. You can see now it's almost like white. This is white. So almost like white. So you can use other colors too, but they are going to be almost like white. The same thing if you're using black too, like this. So don't use pure black on your design, no matter what. Even if you are designing for dark mode, always use dark instead of pure white. You can see in Figma. What I'm in now is this is dark mode. Some of you have your own as white, but this dark mode is not pure black. It is some dark of black, some shade of black. Okay. So what I'm just saying in this essence is that we can make this one to look. Yeah, this is okay. Actually, this is okay. This is almost like white too. So the next thing that we need to talk about is similarity. When you have a particular space, for example, here we have 27, and here we have 16, and here we have 32, we have to establish a way that we are going to make elements that look alike to be the same, just as we have seen in the um, principles of similarity. All of this one now, all of these, all of these NAFPA, they are like one in our design. So what we want to do is let us make them to align to the top like this. This is how we always see it. And then all of this one to they are one, the way they are. So somehow they are going to close to one another. Okay, so this heading and this, let me just call it description now, is kind of related. So we don't want to use the same size with this one and this one, because this one is like a focal points now, and this one is like description or subheading. Let me call it subheading here. So this one is 24 and this one is 20. And then we can see that the color of this one is a bit sharper than this one. Okay, so this one and this one, they are one in one aspect or the other. And this one is another element in your design. This is the profile page. So that's why you can see this one is here. Okay. Thank God in UI design. In UI design, creativity is often overrated. You don't have to make your things too creative. When we talk about law of UX, not UI now, what we talk about is law of UI design. That's law of design. But when it comes to UI design, there are still some law that uh we need to talk about. They are very simple too. There's something that you don't need to even know them, but it's good that you know them, just in case maybe you see it online or you are in designers community, you know what they're talking about, or even in case of interview. So anyone will be asking some of these things in interview. And if you don't know it, they may feel like you don't know what you are doing. So it's always good to know them. So as I was saying, this one and this one, they are the same. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to make them to have less space. Let's make this one to be at 0. It depends actually. Okay, so you can see this one, they are close now. So let's then align this one and this one to the top like this. So I want to establish a space now, a spacing system. We call it design system, but for now, we have system here. And the thing that I use here is 32. 32. Let's work with that one first. So you can go with any spacing. You can even go with 12, depending on the one that are looking very good. So from this place, this group to this is to be 16. Okay. So that 16 is like our design system when it comes to items that are not really close to each other. Okay. So here too, from this place to this place, you can then have 32 now. So that's this space same times 2. Okay. And as you can see, this category, this heading is still kind of fall under the categories of this tab here. Okay. And if you take a note, if you take a close look at this tab, you can see that this one we have color, this one we don't have color, this one we don't have color, and so on and so forth. That is because we are using the law of what law is that? That's um, the law of contrast here, or you can even call it similarity, but now it's law of contrast. That this is a tab that is showing now. This tab under here we have the bestseller on body spray. This body spray now has the best selling, not seller, supposed to be selling, the best selling. And then we have popular items. All of these, they are under the category of body spray. That was why you can see this one is having different color. Okay. When you click on this one too, the same thing. Okay. And so on and so forth. That's the reason why you can see the tab that is active is having different color. So this one and this one to have 16 too, because they are a bit close together, but they are still on the same group. And this one and this one to have 32. Okay. This is principle of consistency. This one is just like a principle that you should follow as a designer. You want to make sure that your design is consistent. Okay. And this one and this one will have stitching too. Okay. So let me put this one to now. This one and this one, they are not inside of a group. We need to make them to be inside of a group like this. Now I'm using auto layout. Okay. And this one too, and this one. All of this one, all of this one, they are still one element. Okay. And as you can see, I align them. So by aligning is one principle. So this one is 16, and I'm going to group it. Okay. And all of this will have 30 pixels the left like this. And then all this one, yeah, okay. Also, one thing that we've established, how many? 13. This one is having 13. Now, it's because of the way this one is having some fraction. Let me remove this fraction. In fact, let me make it be 12 points. But this one does not really matter for now. But what I want to do is, because we have some space here, which is by now is about 12 or 13, we can make the same thing to be 8 because this one does not have any room to breathe now. Okay. And you can see some other rules. This design is not bad though, to be honest. That's why I don't even have many things to correct. Because here, this thing is already group. So we can see this is the law of figure grant. This is already group. So but this one does not have any background color now, or does not have any shadow for us to be able to know that this is one item. It will be difficult for us to know that they are one item. If I should remove this now, you can see how difficult it is for the user to understand that this actually is an item. Okay, that's the reason why I put color and we put shadow there. Because this shadow is now showing that okay, this is above. It has some element behind it, which is not the background. That's the work of the shadow there. But you can see this one, they are not inside of anything at all. You don't have any color, so it's as if that they are there. So we need to find a way to correct that. So let me select this frame on screen. What I want to do first, I want to have some space here. Now I'm going to select all of them. Auto layout, shift and A, like this. And I'm going to put it inside of another auto layout. That shift and A again. So what I'm going to do is this parent auto layout, I want to make this one stretch. Okay. Today before I go, I will teach you a little bit about constraints. So but for now, what I'm going to do is what is happening here is, let me even tell you. What is happening here is, as I'm doing like this, I hold control, and then some items are moving and some are not moving. Okay. This is because of the way auto layout behave in terms of org content and these constraints. So the way we can solve this is just to take a look at the way these things are established. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to take a look at this one. You can see this one is inside of a group. It's not inside of a group. This one is just there by itself, vector. And this one is inside of a group. Okay. And this other one too, Kevin, is inside of a group. This one too, a group. And this one too, a group. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this one inside of a group 2. That's auto layout. Okay. I'm going to make sure that this one is set to org content, not field container. Because if it's set to field container, when I'm enlarging it, it will be trying to still fill the container width. You don't get it. But now, as it's set to all content now, it will just be set to the width of its children element. So if I should enlarge this one now, nothing should happen again. I think by God's grace, but something is still happening. So let's take a look at what is going on. This one, all content, all content, all content. I want to make sure all of them are in all content. This one has width of 24. This one's all content. Okay, some items are in auto layout, some are not in auto layout. So let me just put all of this in auto layout. Okay, and this one's in auto layout. And this auto layout now is set to this place. The alignment is set to top left. So let me put it at center like this. Okay. And let me select the parent element once more. Okay, I think this constraint is coming from here. Here. So you can see this one is inside of this container, inside of this frame, I mean. And this frame is set to center. Let me put this one to center too. Now, it may not make sense the way I'm explaining it, but let me just get this done first. This is problem of auto layout too. Sometimes you just have to check the property of the children element, whether it's okay or not. You know what? Don't let me waste your time. So let me set this on to 402. 402. Okay. So the answer set to 402 now. I'm just going to align it. If I want to align it now, just come to this place. This align horizontal center like this. And it's set at the center like this. So now, what I want to do is I want to put this on to white color like this. Okay. So it's now making more sense. So all of this now, they are perceived as one element. In this case, they are tab bar. All right. Before, what I want to do is I want to be explaining these constraints one after the other, the way they work. And now we can use this increasing, I can increase the width directly. But because of their misbehaving, I don't want to go into the depth of that because I don't even know the one that is doing that behavior. Okay, so then if you now want to make it feel like this one is on top of the background, of course, it still feel like it's on top now. You can then go and use maybe some effects with drop shadow and so on and so forth, as I did in that particular lecture. But let's take a look at the spacing first. This one is 32. Okay, so it's looking a bit nice now because we've established some space here. Here is about 10 to the top, and then we can have some space here too. This one should be about 10 to the top too, 10 to the bottom too. All right. So as you can see now, just with some this little change, our design uh, is um is looking a bit better. But what I want
I
to
have a
do now
question
is what's that?
concerning this cross sign. So I tried reducing the cross sign, but instead that the more I reduce it, the more the I don't know if it's the size increases. I don't know if you get my
This
point.
this one.
Yes, yes. So it's like the size is increasing the more I reduce it. So I don't know. I tried doing it, but it didn't work. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. So I'm saying.
You
So
want
it's not
to
like
reduce it.
it's not exactly
You
like
want to
the
reduce it
way
like this.
your own. Like I
Okay.
want it to be like yours. If you check yours is not like this. But you know you
My own
increased
is
it for us when you dropped it in that.
it's not this big, right? But that's what you mean.
Yes, it's not this big. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I
Okay.
was trying to reduce it, but it didn't work.
What you are doing is that the stroke for this one now, the stroke is big. This stroke is about 8 pixel now. You can see it here under the stroke tab, 8 pixel. So you can just reduce it to maybe something like I think 2 or 3. You do like this.
Oh
Okay, that's
wow.
what cause all those. Okay, so what I want us to do is we want to be having the same similarity. You know, when we talk about similarity, items that are the same, they should have exactly same property. This guy and this guy, this Eliza group is should be considered as similar thing with this group. Okay. So what I want us to do is here we have some space here, which is 12, 12 to the right, to the left, to the bottom, to the up, and then to the left. So we can establish the same spacing here too. Okay, I think the way you design this one is not quite right. Let me just copy it. Let me duplicate it like this. So when I duplicate it, you can see this one goes to the bottom. So you should be trying to rename your frame popular card so that you can know which is which. Let me just put this onto popular card. In your own design too, if you are listening to this recording later on, try to check these things in your design. If they're not the same, make them look the same. So I put them in another auto layout group, and because of this one is on top of this one, is at the upside of this one. Auto layouts thinking that they should be aligned vertically. So just align them horizontally like this. Okay. And you can see what is happening here. The space is not working fine again. Just because of it's trying to put them in a fixed size. So what you can do in this case is just set it to all contents like this. But it will not work because of um, this space. This space has been established before you put them in all contents. So in this case now, just undo them. What I'm going to do again is that I'm going to put them in auto layout again. This auto layout, just be practicing working with it too, because there's something that's even hard for me to explain. But if you are doing it, you yourself will begin to internalize it. So what I want to do is I want to put this one to fixed width. Before it was set to all content or fill container. That's why it's trying to contrast when I set this one to horizontal direction. So put it to fixed width like this, fixed width, and then the other one, the one at the bottom to fixed width, not fill container. So now we can make this one to be horizontal now like this. So you can see this one is now to the is not going overflowing. All right. So you can see this one and this one will look the same now. You can copy this Kevin and then replace it here. Okay, good. And of course, these rules, they are kind of they are more robust than this if you want to think about it. Because when we want to make item similar, we have to check all the property, not only the shape or the feel or the color or the corner radius. You have to check every of the property. Maybe because of you are designing my own design, that's why things are looking good now. But when you start to design your design by yourself without even looking at any other design, you will start to appreciate these rules. For example, this particular test here, body spray. I want to click on this one. In my class, where at this product design, sometime at product design, where I serve to, most of the beginner they make most of my students they make this mistake if they're doing their own design. That's how I want to correct it now. So here, this thing is how to click. Oh, what have we done to your design? Have we logged in? Okay. Here we have 15, right? That's the font size of this text. It will not make sense if you go and set this on to maybe 21. And I see some people do it, and they do it, they don't even think about the way it will look like. They just set this on to different things. Okay, so when this one is set to 15, you're the one that established it to set to be in 15. You can put it into something different, let's say 14. Make sure that this one too is set to the same 14. Okay, and this one too set to the same 14. Okay, they are still similar in one way or the other, but you are establishing a contrast that this one is the active tab. This one is what you are seeing now. So all of these best-selling products and popular items products, they are under body spray. And if you start click on oil perfume, all of the best-selling perfume will now be on oil perfumes. This the same thing happens to the third one. Okay, so as they have the same font size, this one too will have the same font size, this one too the same font size, and so on and so forth. The same thing with this category too. This category too, this one is 20 points. The font size, this one too to be what? 20 points. This one too to be what? 20 points, and so on and so forth. So you can see now. Imagine this one is looking good, this cross, but this one is looking somehow. Okay, so let's make them to have the same width. So that's the law of similarity in action. And as simple as it is, if you follow it in your design, you'll be having a very good result. It will make your design look professional. So it is now up to you for you to be able to train your eyes the proper way for you to be seeing what is not good in your design. That is now agreed to all this law of all these principles of design, and you adjusting it. So how you can do that is by you train your eyes. So how will you train your eyes? You will be looking at good designs from people that have stayed long enough in the field to produce good designs. And the best way to do is for you to go to design community website like Behance, Dribble, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to show you some place that you can get inspiration from by training your eyes now. So the first one, the one that I use very well is Behance. Let me just go to Behance now. Of course, this day I don't really use all these Behance too much again because most of the design they are not what people are actually building. They are just people trying to build their portfolio. You're going to use this one to build your portfolio too as time goes on, but it's still okay for you to be able to see other designs. What I do is this is that me, I try to go to Play Store, actually Play Store. If I'm looking for inspiration in mobile application, then I can be able to see what people have built on Play Store, download the application, then I explore it. But if it's something very sharp that I want to look for, then I go to Behance or sometimes Dribble. And of course, there are many, and some of them I will share them with you. Okay? This is for the class. So suppose that what we are building is this perfume mobile application. So when you get to Dribble, this is how Dribble look like. If you don't have accounts, go and create an account with them. It's okay. You can be able to share your work. You can some of the work that I've done in the past. Now, me, most of the work that I'm doing now, people that I'm doing it for don't allow me to share it on my Behance because of NDA. I'm not allowed to disclose it with others. That's why you don't see some of my real projects that are big in this particular place. Okay. But these are the ones that some of them, I think some of them are still reward, but not all of them are reward. Okay. This one is reward. This guy platform is reward. And some of this one are reward too. But some other thing that I couldn't build that I built is not here. So let's say we are designing mobile application for a perfume business, like the one that we did. So you can just search mobile app for, or let's just say perfume mobile app. Perfume mobile app. Okay. Yeah, this place, of course, you can use it to showcase your design to others, and you can also create something like a gigs here. Maybe people can offer, maybe people can order your gigs and then pay you some money. But we have not gotten any work from this place before. So let's take a look at this one. This guy using the Pro Fashion. So you can see we have some screen here. Let me close this one for now. So you can see the way everything is looking like. So all of this design, sometimes you take a look at the way they are structured, the way this guy puts the elements. You can see this is just mobile application, and I think that he designed 50 screens. So you can see the way things are just ordered. You can see how everything is placed, the spacing systems, and so on and so forth. So you can be using this one to train your eyes. When you look at this good design long enough, when you see bad design, you can be able to tell. Because if you're just starting now, you don't even know the design that is good or not. What you just want to be playing around with is with color and maybe some other elements, but you cannot tell whether the design is good or not. So try to be going to this particular place and then see good design for yourself. Just be looking at the way things are put, the spacings, elements, and so on and so forth. So that will train your eyes with time. Okay. And here, this guy is trying to present his work. Figma fonts and color guys. Okay. In fact, let me even take a look at one of my own work. I don't put most of my work here. I think I've shown you this application. This application is pretty well done. Some people are trying to design Nigeria Facebook app. So this one is social media for Nigeria and it's live. If the website is not, if it has not crashed too. So I give them this design. You can see the sign up screen, and then we have OTP screens, and then we have the home screens here. Okay, so this is the way it looks like. Here, you don't want to be showing everything just like you design it. You want to be adding some stylish so that can make your work look a bit stylish, and then you can be able to see some space, the way things are here. So this one is looking a bit like Instagram when you have suggested for you. When you have this place is looking like a bit like I think Twitter. They're trying to combine Twitter and Instagram together, as you told me that time. And you can see the left bar here. So all of these things, if you are looking at them over time, you'll be able to tell what is good and what is not good. But then the problem is that you as a beginner, if you're looking at this and you don't have anybody to show your work to, it may take longer than necessary for you to be getting things right. That's why when you are done designing, you have to show it to a professional who can tell that, okay, this thing is not quite right, and that one is not okay, something like that. Okay. So what I want to introduce you to next is contrast. That's color contrast. Some of you are making that mistake. This is very common for a beginner. So this contrast now is good. I like it. I think you're using my own color. But suppose that the background color is, if I let me leave the background color like this. But suppose that this text,
So that's not the color I used for the background though.
did I change it?
Yes, you change it. This is not my background
Okay,
color.
okay, no
I
problem.
used your background color for my
My,
background color.
okay.
Yes.
So let me change this to this text color to something else like this. Okay. So let me change this one to like this. And let me change this one to maybe like this now. Just as an example, so that I don't waste time. What I'm trying to tell you in this lecture is how you can improve your design. Because after this lecture, the next lecture, we are going to be building something robust together. And then after that lecture, I'm expecting you to research what you want to create and then design it, even though it's not 100% uh, all right. Okay. So this one too, let's say this one too is like this. So what we're having here is we're having contrast problem. In other words, some user will not be able to see this text very well, especially those users that they have some visual impairment. Okay. When we talk about color contrast and accessibility, there are some people that the way they see color is not the way as normal people see it. So people are color blindness, all right, which means that some people don't even see color. What they can actually see is only black and white. Yeah, some people are like that. So people they don't see blue color. They can see that color, but seeing blue color very well is a problem. So if you design and you make all your color to be blue and vibrant, and it does not pass the ratio test, it will be a problem for them to read your text. Okay. But for example, now, even though if you don't have any problem as far as visual is concerned, this test it may be hard for you to read. Okay. That's why you have to make your test very, very visible. Let me just put it that way. Very visible. So we can use something like this. This is very visible, or you can go with what we have been using, something like this. Okay. Maybe something like this. But in this case, if you use this black too, it's visible. We have a way of testing this contrast. The way we test this is like this. If you go to color field, and you can see after this, all these gradient, solid, and so on and so forth, we have this one called blend mode. Now that's not what I have interest in now. What I have interest in is check color contrast. If I click on this color contrast now, oh, okay, now I don't want to give you any principle, but this one passed the color contrast ratio test, and this one does not even signify it with color. But let me try to use this plugin. Let me use a plugin to do it now. Because the one on Figma, you have to know some rules before you can be able to understand the one on Figma. So after you have done with your design, okay, so click on the entire design, the entire frame, and go to plugin and search for color contrast, or I think it's only contrast like this. So this plugin will come. This plugin, click on save. You save it, already have it saved. Then click it 2 times. When you click it 2 times, you will see generate contrast report. So click on it. This plugin will load. After it has loaded, then you will see um, you will see whether your contrast is readable for most of your user or not. Now, the way this one is work is like there's some principle that guide this. And when we talk about color contrast, when we talk about color itself, we talk about some of these things because color is one crazy things in UI design. Okay. No, that's a particular thing. If I don't all this screen up, all of the contrast, all of the frames that I have in my files will be accessed. But let's just wait for it. I don't want this to waste my time on. But this one now, this one should be okay. This one should be okay. But this one should be giving us error. This one should be giving us error. For every other one, because we don't change their color, should be okay. But I want to show you something. You know what? Let me close this one for now. I'm going to click on the screen again. So if you have used one plugin and you want to reuse the plugin again, you can use shortcut to do it. I think my Figma is a bit slow now. Just 1 minute. So I click on this screen, this home screen. If you want to reopen the last plugin that you used, you can click on Control, hold Alt. Which are both of them are their head, you hold them down, and then you click on P. So the last plugin will be reloaded. Okay, just 1 minute. I think it's my network. But let's just wait for it because this is very important. Okay, good. What this plugin is actually doing is it's trying to generate contract for all the screen that we have on this frame. But anyway, so you can see this text on this screen. This one has green color. The one that has green color means that it's okay. So this one has green color. This one too has green color. To be honest, I don't understand the reason why this one is doing like this. What I'm going to do to ease things for this plugin is I'm going to copy this screen to where there's no any other frame. Okay, maybe this one to work very fast. Because ideally what you're going to be testing is not going to be on any other frame. Okay, good. So now all you have is that this particular test, this one is green, which means that this is very good. And even this one is not the best. It's showing that it's yellow. It's okay. It's showing that user can still manage it, but some user might have problem with it. But you see this one that we have inside of this place that is shown as red color. This one, you can see this plugin analysis as red here. It shows that this one has a very bad contrast. That is, some user will not be able to see this text very well. Okay, and that is the one that changed the color to something else. So if you change this color to something more vibrant now, like white, like this, Okay. When we see it now, the plugin should now show that this test is okay. And now it's showing us as yellow color. Yellow again, as I said, is just like it's still okay, but it's not the best. So let me now make it to be the best now, because here we have this color, the one at the background, the color of the shape itself is sharp, and then this white too is sharp. Let me see, maybe black will work in this case. Black will not work. And I don't want to change the color of the. In fact, since we are just doing a sample, let me just. I don't want to tamper with all the color. Let me just change this one to something a bit lighter like this, or darker. Sorry, darker like this. Uh-huh. Now we should be seeing green now. I think this has not reloaded as well. Let me reload it and see. That means we are still using code that is not the best. I want us to have. In fact, I'm going to make it more darker tone like this, and this one very very bright. This is white. This one should give us green. Let me see. The contrast ratio is 19.27. This should be okay now. And I don't mind spending time on this because this is very important. If you design, and so everyone can see your design, what you have in your design, it's not going to make much sense. But if this really bad like this, that we don't have green, supposed to have green for this, not yellow. This would be yellow. All this other one, we have to have a green for all these other ones. For this one, okay, let me make it total black now. Something like this. Although this thing, you don't, as I said, you don't want to use pure black most of the time in your design. You can use some shade like this. Let me just use some shade like this. Some shade of black, like maybe 1 2 1 2 1 2, and then maybe your text. This one can be white. In fact, I'm going to read some documentation about this plugin. I feel like this plugin is doing something else. So, yeah, this one should be red because this one have horrible horrible color. Okay, let me check with this one. This one is now. Okay, let's check this one. Maybe this one will work now. Control Alt and T. Yeah, this one work, but this one did not work. But this one has a very good contrast that everybody can see it. It's still on yellow. And of course, we have this 2A and this triple A. This one is just like minimal ratio, and this one is for enhanced ratio. I don't want to go into the technicality of it now. That's why I don't talk about this one. But make sure that your own is set to this AA. If you are using this plugin, this column contrast plugin, AA, this one is minimal ratio. To be honest, it's not working. This one is still not working. Don't worry. This one is not important now, but you get the idea, you get what we are trying to do. I run into a
Yes, sir.
problem. What's that?
So why
That
don't we use the formal color and see if it will work? What do you think?
normal color.
The color we used before, like that is the
Yes,
formal
it's
one. So
work.
you change it.
It's work. This one work.
Okay.
This
Okay.
one is giving us yellow. That's what this one is giving us. But this one is not going to give us green, it's giving us yellow. The yellow is still okay to some extent. It's not that bad. So you can see this one is still giving us yellow. What I want us to get is I want us to get this green. Just for me to show you how this thing is work. That if the color contrast is very good, you're going to get green. But if it's not very good, if it's still okay, right? If it's still good, you get yellow. But if it's very poor, then you get red. That's why sometimes that last time you get red in this place because we change the color of that particular text. And in this color contrast, this one is just showing the color contrast regarding text, not with any other element, not with images, not with um, this one, not with any other, not with icon. It's just only text because text is the most important thing. I would say most important thing in your design. Imagine if you design interface without any text. So text is what your user is going to be read, not any other thing else. Images, sometimes if it's website, images may not be even, it will not load while the text is always going to be there. So this contrast ratio is always check the background of your design with the text that you have on the foreground, not on any other thing else. So you can see here we have text here, 10 o'clock, and then this text here, and so on and so forth. And of course, the way this thing is calculating is has a lot of compound in it. It has to check it according to your font size and according to the color of the text and according to the color of the background. Okay. We still talk about it when we get to color theory. Color theory is something that is kind of huge in design, UI design. We can't cover it in one lecture, but that's just it. So the takeaway here is that when you design, let your color, let it let it be fair enough for everybody to see it. So when you use this kind of background color, don't use something like this that will be hard to see. Okay. And I'll give you a quick rule, which is that don't use background color that is too sharp. Like if you are using, for example, this one now, I want to undo this. So you can see I run into a problem. This is now not very visible again. That's because of this thing called pixel view that I enable. Let me go and off it. This is pixel preview. Okay. So in case you are seeing something like this, I don't know how you run into it because I was clicking on shortcode that time. That was when I mistakenly click on it. So just turn it off, disable, and your this thing will come back. Okay, so don't use something very sharp as your background. So the background that we have here is this. Imagine you are using something like this. This is this is okay to some extent, but let me just go with this. This is too sharp as a background. It's too sharp as a background. So your background should be something like you'll be having some dark color to it, or be having something like maybe not 100% white, but in this case now you have to change the color of your text. Okay, but it depends on that. The background can be total white, just like this one. You have total white. Okay, but it depends on where that particular element is located. Actually, this one can be total white too. It will still look good to some extent, but that total white sometimes most people don't really like it like this, especially if it is in the night. That's why it's okay that you just make it not total white, but add some shade of other color to that. So let me undo it. I didn't want to talk about this one today, but since we're talking about how you can improve your design. That's why I decided to mention about it because I see it as common mistake that beginners make. Okay, so that's it about principles of design. Some of these things is not easy for me to show you the way they work now because I will just have to be browsing through websites and show you. But as I show you as a rules now you can be able to put it willingly to your design. So if you are designing element that should be grouped together, okay, you make them stay close together. You want to scatter them, and then your text too. You make sure that when you are designing it, everybody can see that text. Not like the text will be it will be very bright for people to see or very dark for people to see. And then the law of similarity that if items are close together, if they have the same property, the user will perceive them as one. The same thing with law of contrast. Okay, this law of contrast is where that contrast regarding to text come from. But in this case, this one is talking about it generally. Then we have the law of common region. What is called law of common region? When you are designing, just make sure that things that are similar are grouped together. Okay, and then the same thing with law of continuity and so on and so forth. So up next, I'm going to be um, I'm going to be showing you some of these things in our project that we're going to be designing. So I want us to design a full website now. All I've been designing so far is just like we are playing around with Figma. But since you are okay with Figma now, it's not like we are totally okay with it. Some things that maybe still hard for you, but the way we are going to master it is with practice. We are going to be designing a full website in our next class, which is on Monday. If we can't finish it that day, we are going to schedule another day for us to finish it. So after we are done with that, you yourself will now design something like that. But it's not going to be my own. It's not going to be on my own design again. It might be similar, but it must not be the same again. Okay. So after that, then we move on to another mobile application that will be designed, and then that one we use it to learn prototyping. But before we go, just so that I give you maybe some take home on just like something that you can research on for yourself. And of course, this thing too, I can't really explain it in proper detail now. So you can go on YouTube and go and learn more about them. Okay. So, but for now, let me show you about how website is being designed. Let me use it now two websites. Okay, this is how we design websites, and it's according to all the rules that we've learned so far, which is that some items or some elements here inside of one family, and by that they are going to be grouped together. So we always have different sections. So this is one section. This section I call it header. Everybody call it header. And after this section we have the row section. So after this section it depends on what you have in your design. But I have this one. This one is frame. Let me call it a different name. Let me just call it, I can call it anything. Let me just call it custom design. Because that's what this heading is pointing to. So here we have the service section. This service section is just showing that this is the service that this particular company provide. And here we have work section. That's the work that this company has done since their establishment or the work that they are doing every single time. And then we have this one is testimonial. The testimonial is very important. It's very common in every website. And then this one is CTA. CTA just means the call to action. You can see this one and make it more vibrant. Okay. According to the rules that we just learned, if you want to make something stand out, you can use color to do that and some other elements. And you can see here we are using black or like this dark color, dark color. But when I get to this particular place, then I use something very bright. So here now, the attention of the user is going to be drawn to this place because I want them to take decision here, which is what? To explore some of the work that this company has done. Or otherwise, I want them to contact this company. And you can see the same principle is still in action here. The one that I want them to actually click is not contact, is explore. I want them to go and see the work that this company has done first. That's why I make sure this particular button is what? It has that color. This one is more vibrant than this one that just has outline. Okay. So you can see the principle in action now. And then we have this footer. This is footer. The last sections of every website is always footer. And this first section is header. Okay. After the header, the next section that you usually see is the hero section. And this hero section is what we tell the visitor of that particular website at a glance what that complaint is all about. Okay, so the focal point, which is the hero text, will be shown very clearly. And you can see that if you see this complaint, that is complaint this with drawing tattoo. Discover the beauty of artists at its absolute finest today. Okay, you can see we have this tattoo neck. All right, so that's how a website is sanctioned, how a website is structured. So you have different sections. We have header, we have hero, we have other section services. We are going to be doing design for website. I've not think about one yet, but maybe before Monday I'll come with an idea. I don't want to do what I have done before. I want it to be something new so that I can show you some process to it. And we are going to start from wireframing. Wireframing is usually where you are going to start from. By wireframing just means that you are going to browse through some ideas, and then based on that idea, you will draw what your own unique idea want to look like. And then from that drawing, then you can continue your design. Okay. So the take home here is that find, if you don't know about it, of course, if you do, you don't have to do it. But if you don't know about it, go and do some research on wireframing and how you can wireframe. Now, there's two types of wireframe. There is paper wireframe, otherwise known as paper sketch, and then there's digital wireframe. So paper wireframe is that thing that you've drawn your sketch, then you transfer it to Figma files with Figma elements. Okay. So let me even show you a sample of wireframe. Do you have any here? I don't think so. Let me check this particular website. This print monkey. Don't worry, we stop the class now. Let me go to this wireframe. Sometime I just okay, yeah. Good, I have it. So this is how wireframes look like. So the way I wireframe these days, I just wireframe with only black and white. Then I just draw the way I want the website to look like with black and white. That's with gray color. I don't really focus on color. The reason why this one I color is because of I copied from some of my other design, because this one is just going to look like the same. It's testimonial. And then you can see all of this one where they are. They are in black and white. So some of these things I saw it online, but I made them unique in my own design. And as you can see, what I designed for this company, of course, this is before the owner of this website corrected these items. Some things are not the same as they are in this wireframe. Let me show you the design. So this is the home page. So you can see that 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 cup is no more there, but all of this one they are pretty much the same. We still have this one, we still have the surface the way it is. No, this surface has been changed, but this one we still have it the way they are in the wireframe. So that's example of wireframe. You just want to put some things down, okay? But these days, to be honest, I don't really do much of paper wireframe again. I just try to draw it a little bit in paper. Then I brought it to Figma. But in most cases, if the work is work of 2 3 days or 1 week, I don't do any wireframe. I just design it straight from my head. But you as a beginner, it's okay that you start from wireframe because it's going to make the work a a lot easier for you to do. So research on wireframe and then try to draw the wireframes of a website in our next class. Now I don't give you any clue now, so you have to be the one to research on it because researching is part of your work as a designer. When people come to you, what they are going to send to you is just some plain text. You are the one that make the research by yourself and come up with idea in forms of visual elements that is pleasing to the user. So research what a wireframe is and draw a wireframe for. In fact, draw it for any product that you like. It could be a mobile application. It could be a website. So that's the assignment, and I'm going to send it to the group chat too. So I want to see you do that. You can watch YouTube video. You can use AI to do it because as time goes on, you are going to be doing that by yourself almost all the time. Okay. All right. Is there any questions so far? Are we still together?
Yes, sir. So I have a question. But
What's
it's
that?
concerning the assignment, the last one. So I noticed that I don't know if you can enter my own page. That's Precious UI UX Bootcamp. This other framework that is showing outside.
Other what?
This other framework. This work we just
Uh,
did that you just showed us.
okay, I'm coming. Let me find your. Just give me a minute, please.
Okay.
You know what? People are just disturbing me that I should add them to my boot camp that they want to join. So Figma. Let me personalize it. Precious. Okay. It's loaded now.
Okay, sir.
Is this any phone loading like this? Okay, it's loading. Okay. What's that?
This one up close to sorry, this 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 one, this particular one.
This one?
The one down, yes. I know that it's showing. but your own is not showing. The second one.
So you duplicated it now. That's why it's showing.
But why is it showing like outside the remaining words?
Okay,
Why is it showing outside? But
okay.
in yours is not.
It's
Huh?
overflowing. That's why it's overflowing. That's why. But this one is not inside. I see inside. It's
Which
not
one?
inside. This particular card, these two cards, they are not inside these frames. Are they inside?
No, I'm talking about this other one that
This
it's just
one,
this one I'm asked. Yes.
yeah, this one is not
Yes.
inside this frame. Is it inside? It's not inside.
Okay, so how do I put this inside?
Okay, first of all, when you are designing, try to name your design. If you name your design, it's easy for you to know where they are located. You can see all your most of your design. Okay, you are naming some, which is a good thing, but there are some that you don't name. For example, you have frame. I think this is about 1 billion, something like this. So you can just name this one to Elisa card. Okay. So now you know that this frame is for this particular card. And what you are designing, your main frame is home screen. That's the main frame. And this one is outside. So you can see. So you can just drag it inside here now. You see? So
Have
if
to
it's
do that
inside,
again.
can you see my this
Yes,
my panel? So this
yes,
one, this is the home screen. So
yes.
this frame is what your design, all of your designs will be inside. So you can
Yes.
drag this Elisa card into this home screen like this.
Okay.
Okay, it will be inside. That's one way to do it. The other way is that first of all, as I told you, as we've learned into this lecture about grouping items together, any element that relates together, make sure that they are in one group. Okay, so this one and this one should be in one group. So you can see this one is inside, but this one is not inside. That's because of they are not in one group. So if you group this one and this one together now, and as I told you, there are two main way of grouping. So I'm going to use frame group now. Right click on them and then go to frame selection. Now they are
Hmm.
grouped. Okay, coming on. So this one, and this one, frame selection. Okay, because of this one is aside, doesn't work. So use group selection in this case. This will work. What this one is doing is because of this one is inside and this one is not inside. So you have to drag this one inside first. This one, drag it inside here first. Okay. So now you can group them. This one and this one. Frame selection now. Okay, they are grouped now. So, and that's one thing. They are inside here. But if this frame is set to clip content, it's not going to be showing the overflowing. But if it's not set to clip content like this, you are still going to be seeing it. You do get?
Okay. That's all.
So clip content is supposed to be click if you are working with the main frame. Otherwise, you are still going to be seeing the overflowing.
Okay.
So always try to group your element, just like the way you group this one, like this. So group this one too, and so on and so forth.
Okay. So that was another question. So if you want to send this, how do you send work to a client?
Client.
Yes, after designing your work. So how do you share it to
Okay,
the
yeah.
client you designed for?
Okay, we've not talked about exporting. Okay, so I'm afraid I want to be using Figma to design a flyer. Okay, in fact, I think let me also use some of the flyers that I designed for with Figma. This is taking time. Let them waste time. If you are done designing, it depends on the client that you are working with. If it is this are fine. If it is a client that wants to see your design as an image, what you are going to do is you are going to export your design to them. Okay. But if it's a client that just want to see the Figma file, then you are going to share your file to them. Okay, let's take for example this design. Suppose that this is a client's project, and after I'm done, I want to share with them. Okay, I can do it the way I share fast with you by just clicking on go to this place here, click on share, and then you copy the link and you show it to them. If you show it to them, if you share with them, they click it, they will be able to come to this file, right? And then they'll be able to see the way things are arranged. Okay. Then they can comment by pressing C. You know, some of you know how to comment now, and they can say that please change this color. Okay, that's one way to share your work with clients. But if it's like a flyer, you're not going to be telling your client to come to this place, or maybe you are doing something that the client doing even is not technically inclined in terms of some clients don't even have laptop. What you're going to do is you are going to export your design. Click on the screen or the frame that you want to export. In my own case, is contact us frame. Then scroll down. When you scroll down, you see here the last tab here is export. So click on this plus icon. Then you can choose to export it as PNG, JPEG, SVG, and PDF. Now, I'm not going to talk about this SVG for now, but SVG is just like it's going to be in forms of code. But mostly you're going to be saying your design in JPEG. So you click on JPEG, which means that it's going to be in forms of image. And then you click on export. So you can preview it here. You can preview what you want to export. So you click on export contact us. They're going to ask you where you want to save it. Okay, now for now it's asking me where I want to save it. So I can go to my download now and click on save. Let me click on save now.
Okay. So you can
So if
post it to WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
Yes.
When you have it on your design now, it can be on WhatsApp.
Okay.
When you have it in your file manager, I mean, in your computer, you can do anything that you like with it as you would do to any other image. I need to refresh my laptop. I don't have my laptop. I only have an edit. And if I do that too much, it's going to be hanging like this. But anyway, so you can see the design is here now. Contact us, JPEG. So this is image now. You can do anything that you like with it as we will do to any other image. Okay, we will still talk about exports in detail because you can still export as PNG. Now, as PNG just means that if the image does not have a background, okay, and you want to preserve it, that background now will be transparent. That's what that one means. And if you want to make it as documents, you can use PDF. This way is going to be in terms of portable document formats. So that's how you can share your work with clients. But most commonly, people that I'm working with now, I don't share my design with them as JPEG. I only share it with them as Figma file. Because most cases, developer have to step in and see and develop what I've designed. So they still have to come to the Figma file because they still will be checking spaces and so on and so forth. Okay. They will be checking spaces, they'll be checking the font size that you use, all those kind of stuff. That's how developer develop your design. So Figma file, using Figma file is the most common way that you share your work with your clients.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
But that Figma file it can be only open on system, right? Not phone.
It can be open on phone. That's why I told you that you can get Figma for your phone on your phone, and then you'll be see it there. For people that are using Figma on phone, they won't be able to edit it. They can only feel it. So here,
Okay.
Figma.com,
I understand.
downloads. So if you don't have this application yet, go and get it. I have it myself. Sometimes you just want to put something in Figma. See, Figma for mobile app. This one, we allow the client to see the design on mobile phone, and the client can comment from there if there's something that they need to correct. Okay. And so you can see these are some of the design that I do with Figma. You can see this is flyer design I do with Figma. So all this one I do it with some of my friends. Sometimes they disturb me. Some of them don't even know the difference between UI designer and graphic designer. So they disturb me with flyer. Do this one for us. That's what I do it. And you can see the one that I've done for church.
Yes.
So some of that when I was in church that time. So all of this one I do it in Figma. So that's one thing that I've actually boosted my own Figma skills. But you can see they are still pretty basic. But to some extent, they're looking quite okay. So after I'm done, let me even show you. After I'm done with the design now, because this is a flyer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just export them out here, review, and I'll export them. Okay. Now, in this case, I always use JPEG. Any other question before we go? Any other question? Miss Miriam, Mrs. Miriam, are you done with your design, the assignment?
Yes, sir.
Have you pasted it to the report sheet?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me quickly go and take a look.
Okay, sir. 100 I give you, okay? Uh-huh. Okay, no. 200 I'll give. Thank you.
Yes, I'm coming. I don't know. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I think it's my network. Network is not the best. This is
I pasted it already in that profile
yes.
in the.
Yes, I want to navigate to the page now, but Figma is slowing me down.
Okay, sir.
What's your number, please?
Number 4.
Number 4.
Yes, sir. I lock it from this panel, so you can unlock
No,
it.
no problem. I will just take a look.
Yes, sir.
You see, because I have many tabs open in Chrome. I have about 4 Chrome open now. I see what I'm even having on Figma open. All these files are too much. The system is kind of slow. Okay, number 4. Okay, this is cool. To be honest, this is very nice now.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's okay. Just like the color, but the color is in this case is not something very terrible. But if I want to unlock this one, I have to locate your files. But no problem. The design
Yes,
is
sir.
okay. As
I
time
rename
goes on, when we are designing
can
together, hmm,
I rename it so you can easily
okay,
find it to unlock it.
if you name it, what's the name?
Yes, sir. My name Adegoke Mariam Ayode.
Adegoke. Okay, good. Okay. When we talk about color psychology in color theory, if we have the time to talk about it, right, then some of the way you use color it will change because color is used on purpose. We don't just use the color anyhow. We use color based on the thing that we are designing for. Okay. Imagine you are designing a mobile application or a website for a restaurant and you are using which color is going to totally off. You are using something like blue as primary color, like this one is going to be totally off because when you are when you are designing something like that, color like red is going to be the best, right? Red and maybe orange, that kind of stuff. Okay, just because of the way people are already familiar with a brand that is associated with that particular color. But in this case, it's not a problem. Okay. And when we talk about primary color, secondary color, tertiary color, and then we talk about accent color, we talk about neutral color, which I mentioned today, then you begin to use color even more wisely into your design. But in this case, is it's not a problem. It's okay. What I want to pay attention to now is your space. Okay, system, and then you establish 24. Okay, good. This one to 24, and then like the fact that you're using
Yes,
auto layout. Okay, when you're using auto layout, it will make your design to
sir.
be fast. See, the reason why Figma provided all these things is because of it's not because to make life harder for designer. It's because in most cases, when you are designing reward projects, people are going to be on your neck that you want this thing to be done in 2 weeks. You want this one to be done in 1 week, and so you don't want to be doing things manually all of the time. So doing things automatically is just boost your time. So that's why. So when you know how to design now with auto layout, it will make your work a bit faster. In fact, much faster. Okay, this is nice. To be honest, this is nice. 32. Yeah, on this one too, 32. And I like this place. This place is nice. Yeah, you're going somewhere to be honest. So I know that it's like you have some experience in design before, right? Are we together? But if you can hear me, if you have some experience in design before, You can then be building your online presence and building your portfolio one after the other now. This postcard will not allow us to talk about the best way to build a portfolio. And it's not because of the timing. But in our masterclass, we deep dive into it because the reason why you want to know how to design for you to be able to earn money. People say you should not think about earning money when you are learning design. I don't know why. You should be thinking about how to earn money from your design. Of course, you are going to be valuable. That's what we earn you money. When you are valuable enough, the next thing is for you to get clients. So that's one of the reasons why we're going to be talking about it in our master class. But for now, if all of the design, put them together and try to showcase them on your social media. I prefer LinkedIn, but not only LinkedIn, even on X or on Facebook. If you go to my Facebook, you see I post. I post very well. So try to be putting all these designs together and putting it there. Okay. So next month, pressure you to start putting that you are learning something, and then you're going to be posting your step. Okay. So when you have about 2-3 years of experience in this field, it will be very fun for you to say throwback to some of your design from 2-3 years ago. I do it. If you go to my page on Facebook, you see I say throwback to my design 3 years ago. And even though design is awful now that I know how to design very well, it will be kind of a joy that we've improved over the year. Okay. So that's one thing I feel like you can do for yourself now since you are getting it. Because good design is okay, to be honest. If you ask me, it's okay. Okay. How there's any question again? Let me lock your file again. Very good. That's Control F. Control F is for finding. And
Thank you,
when you do find what you want,
sir.
you can double click on it. Yeah. And then you can lock it back. All right. Any other question? So that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining. Now, some of you are very busy. Weekend, especially Saturday like this, is for outing. Or it's for a day that you just want to relax, but you still find a way to join me. And somebody like Mr. Tobi Gunjobi, who is already an expert in the field, I'll respect you, but it's still good to have you. Just in case I'm having some difficulty sometimes, I'll just call to your help that my boss, how do you do it? But uh, it's still kind of a privilege to know that you are putting the mind in this thing that we are doing. And I want to clear the air. Some people may be thinking that there's no money in this field, that there's no money. There's money in this field. There's money in design. No. See, design can never ever be replaced totally by AI. AI is being built for designer now. Not even people that don't know how to design. Imagine you don't even know how space and work. You don't know anything about principle of perceptions. You want to use AI to prompt interface for yourself. It's not going to be easy. So all this AI is going to be used by developer or by designers most of the time. Imagine you don't know how to write a line of code and you want to use AI to build a complex web application. How is it going to be easy for you? So we are the one that's still going to be using AI. Okay. We'll talk about AI one of these days. I don't think it's going to be in this bootcamp, but we are still going to talk about AI and the way it can help you. There's some AI now. I know of about 3 sites, not ChatGPT, that they are dedicated for UI design that can help you to boost your creativity or your workflow when you are designing. Okay, because some things you don't even have any idea of how they are being built. You don't have any idea anything at all. So if you give the AI some prompts, then they can help you draw some workflow or some like wireframe that you can work with. And because of we have experience before, it's going to be easy for you. So that's it. So this feed is lucrative. Sometimes I understand that if you are still a beginner, it may be hard for you to get reward projects or a good project that pay you very well. But once you get 1, 2, and 3, I'm very sure that the fourth one, fifth one is not going to be hard again. And some of you are going to be lucky enough that at maybe in your the first 6 months or even first 8 months or first 1 year, you may be hired by one company that the money is not going to be too bad, to be honest. Especially if you're in some place like maybe somewhere like Abuja or Lagos, that place there's always um, opportunity for UI UA designer. And some of you will get internship online. In fact, with international company, that's how it works sometimes. But the way me I got my first job is on LinkedIn. No, not LinkedIn. I've been working with um, people that I know in university to build websites, those kind of stuff. Before I later got work on LinkedIn. But LinkedIn is where I got my first good paid job, not job but project, just because I keep on posting and keep on posting, keep on posting. So we are going to talk about it in detail when we are doing masterclass, how you can be able to position yourself very well, because you can be very good, very, very good, extremely good in design and not getting job. That's just because you don't position yourself very well. People don't even know what you do. But if you position yourself quite all right, believe me, work is going to come. And if you are good enough, if you are good enough in what you do, you will not have time to be designing for every client that are going to be coming your way. Because some clients actually don't have your money. Some of them is they want to be pricing you low. That you are going to be recommending some junior designer for them. About four, I think about 4, 5, not up to 5 months, maybe about 4, 3 months ago, one of my clients I've been working with when I was not very good in the field asked me to design mobile application for him for 100K. And I know it's okay, but that application, the one they asked me for is more than 100K. I didn't collect it. And I did not have somebody that can actually recommend for that person at that particular time. So they carried the work. They carried the work and they give it to other designers I don't even know of. But suppose I have someone like you now, believe it, I'm going to recommend you to them that work with this person. This person will deliver the job for you. That's how it is sometimes. So if you are together, there's something that I'm going to be leaving for you because of sometimes I'm busy. You can't be doing everything all at the same time. So if you are serious with this field, believe me, in the next 1 year, and you are very good though, you'll be getting something out of it, something that you can rely on. That's how it is, as far as you are good though. And the way work is going now, the mode of work is going now, global work mode is going now. More work is going to be disbursed digitally. So you don't even have to leave your own room or your own comfort zone for you to go and look for work again. Everything is going to be online. So for you to have a digital skill is going to be a lot beneficial. And this is like a starting point for some of you. Some of you are going to even go to something more critical than UI design in the future. But because of you know how color work, you know how interface work, you'll be able to pick other skill very quickly. Maybe you want to go into coding, content development, you can go into it. Some of you that want to even go and specialize in 3D design, right? You might go into it. And even if it's motion design, if you have background in user interface design, it's going to be very helpful. So you are not wasting your time, just like every other process. You understand? The beginnings is always the most difficult. Difficult as time goes on, you will see that what you are doing this particular time is worthwhile. So that's what I have for today, and I hope to see you on Monday evening. So as I said, the assignment is very simple. Just research what wireframe is, and then try to draw a wireframe for any business that you like. It might be a website, it might be a mobile application. So draw the wireframe with pen on a paper, right? And then return into Figma file. Okay. So from that Figma file, then if it's okay enough, you can continue from there. But if it's not okay, that is we are going to do it together from our next class when we are about to round up this bootcamp, because I want us to design a full website together. What you're going to be designing all the time, especially if you're like me, like this freelancer, is websites. Yeah, sometimes you'll be seeing web application, sometimes you'll be seeing mobile application. But what people design most of the time is websites. Not if going to lie to you. The people say they're not good in website design, that they like designing mobile application most of the time. But me, maybe it's because of me, I have some development experience, but the work that comes my way most of the time is websites. So and I want you to know how to design websites very well. Mobile application is not hard. The same way you are designing um the same tool that you're using to design website is what we are going to be using to design mobile application. So we are going to be using almost the same concept for it. And for now, let the wireframe be on website for now, because what we are going to do first is website. So we can continue from them, and then we are going to design the full website. We are going to talk about pages in website design, section website design, and so on and so forth. As I said before, expensive design in website design. Okay. So that's it for now. And please do have a lovely evening. I'll see you on Monday.
Thank you, sir. You too, sir.
All right. Bye.